Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ordinary to Extraordinary podcast webinar. I'm live with a bunch of CrossFit Games athletes, and I'm so pumped. We've got Team Terminus on the call all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, hometown heroes. So, guys, welcome to the call tonight.
Thanks, Austin.
Yeah,
good to be
absolutely.
here.
I know it's going to be kind of confusing with everyone on the call since we've got so many of you guys, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out to do this. I'm going to pull up. I know everyone's on their computer right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull up. I've got this picture I want to share, and that's pretty much going to be the protocol of what we're going to be going off of. For those of you that are attendees and that are guests, at the bottom left, if you click you can ask questions. So anyone who wants to ask a question, you can feel free to ask a question down below. I'm going to go ahead and get the screen share, though, set up. And Eric, welcome to the call, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to top camera, if you want people to see your beautiful face, they can. But if you want to hit the camera at the top, it'll actually X your face out and just see your Google picture. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Where the fuck's the? Where's the camera?
It's at the top. You'll see a thing that says the camera screen. There we go. You guys see the picture?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
So
I just see Eric's face.
That turned it off, right?
So I know as of now we've got Steve and Joey on the call who are both active members on this team back in 2013. I just want to get like a brief little overview from all of you guys. Steve, why don't we start with you? Since you have the best hair out of the group. Let's go ahead and start with you.
I had the best hair.
Well, you got to keep. If you keep us live, we'll be able to see it more. But give us a little background, man, about you, who you are, and a little about this picture that you see at the top left, as well.
Okay. A little background on me. Basically grew up playing all sports. Had an opportunity to play football in college. Loved it, and really, after college, was trying to find something to, fill that athletic, that competitive void. I tried a bunch of things. I even dabbled in triathlon a little bit, which at my size is probably not I don't have the ideal body type for triathlon.
Is that a fat joke?
Yeah, so it was yeah, sure. But, it just wasn't for me. A friend of mine told me to try out CrossFit, and after my first workout, I was hooked.
What year was that?
That was, 2011, 2010?
Okay. And so you had a previous background, and then that picture up above is what year on the CFRX?
That's the CrossFit RX team was 2013. So that was, probably 2 years into CrossFit for me, probably closer to 1 year actually doing CrossFit. The first gym I was at was more boot camp than CrossFit, but at the time I didn't really know any better. I'd say, probably a year into actually doing CrossFit, and then, haven't been competing too long going into that, but just found a good group of athletes and, kind of made it happen going to the games in 2013, which at the time had a lot more to do with the quality of the women on your team than the guys. Essentially, if you had 3 women that could do muscle-ups, if you had 3 women that were proficient with overhead squats and the movements, you had a good shot of going. And we had some great ladies on the team that year that really propelled us forward. So I think, every year it comes down to the ladies, but in that particular year, I think that made a huge difference because, where we're at now compared to 2 years ago is night and day.
Yeah. And I definitely today, for those of you that are on the call, some of the attendees, I just want you guys to know something you're going to get tonight is we're going to be talking with everyone on the call tonight, and I want one thing I'm going to get from every member on this team is things they've integrated into their training from 2013 into today. I know they've incorporated a lot as far as how they take care of their bodies, how they train, when they train. So I think those are essential keys in order to becoming a better athlete for yourself. And those will definitely be things that we'll get to tonight. So make sure you stay on the full call tonight because we've got a lot to share. Joey, why don't you give us a little background about yourself?
Well, I started kind of like Steve. I played high school and college football. And once that was over, I stayed in the gym, and so I graduated undergrad in 2008. So I do the, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, bench and squat, what have you, at the gym. And it was actually my uncle who turned me on to CrossFit. So in 2009, I started doing that at my apartment, in my apartment gym, and kind of made it work. Wanted to get competitive with it because I knew there was a competitive side, so I joined a gym. And now I'm here.
Awesome. And I know with you, man, with your like schedule as far as work, man, like when you train is very diligent. I don't think people get, the people that want to be elite, how you have to train and when you have to train and make the time for it. I don't think most people tell people what time you train at in the morning.
Early morning, the Lord's hour.
Yeah, this guy's up at 5 a.m. training. So, for those of you who want to be elite and want to be top level, it takes commitment, it takes discipline. Eric, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
So my background is in gymnastics and soccer. So I come from a family of Division I soccer players. My father, my uncle, brothers all went on. I guess it's somewhere deep roots in our family. And at some point, my father basically made me choose soccer over gymnastics so I could specialize it more and devote all my time to it. And so in about 8th grade, I went full soccer and, went on to play D1 ball in Philadelphia at St. Joseph's University for 2.5 years. I quit after the spring season and changed my major to sports and fitness and transferred to University of Louisville in Kentucky. And from there, just really focused in school. I was kind of burnt out on soccer. I had no passion for it, and graduated, 3 years instead of 4 years, and was kind of lost in Louisville, Kentucky. Had an opportunity to move to Atlanta, Georgia. Came here and got right into personal training. It being such a vain city, it was easy to build a clientele base, and I had fun for a while doing the global gym, working out, and everything like that. But at some point, the competitiveness in me was trying to find something I could have done. So like Steve, I did triathlons and half Ironmans and had fun with that for a little bit, and knew that really wasn't my style. I wanted to lift weights, and it kind of didn't equal out for me. And so I guess I am somewhere in my 3rd year, maybe, coming up. No, yeah, it's got to be my 3rd year. Walked into CrossFit RX, and that first year I was there was 2 weeks before the Open that year. CrossFit RX sent a regional team. They went, and then the following year is when, I really got into it. Went to regionals with that team, and then after that I went to CrossFit Terminus. So, and here I am.
Awesome. And with you, I think one of your stories that I want you to share tonight is about the bracelet story. If you're okay sharing that story, I think that's a powerful story. Totally. It's all. I mean, that huge testament to just about believing in yourself, commitment, and never giving up. Awesome testament. Allison Brager, you're here. Allison. No, Allison. Sonia.
Hey, Dr. Brager, what's going on over there?
Can you talk?
Yeah. I think
she was on, wasn't she?
Oh, Sonia. Then, since Allison's muted herself, what we'll do is, why don't you give us a quick background about yourself, all right?
Okay, real quick.
And by the way, Sonia was also on the team as well from 2013 into the 2015 team.
Okay, let's see. I was a track and hello.
Yeah.
Okay, I was a track and field competitor, Division I. Battled a lot of injuries in college. but I had potential to pursue a track and field career. And I proceeded, after I graduated, I actually proceeded to pursue that dream. And that's why I ended up in Atlanta, because the group that I was here, Top Flight Elite, was, some of them were professional and some of them not. Some of them were looking for sponsorship, and I was one of those athletes. So I ended up pretty much chasing that dream for probably like 4 or 5 years, honestly. That's a long time. And came close in 2008. I qualified in the 400 for the Olympics.
What was your time?
It was a 52.9.
Jeez.
But obviously that's not fast enough, because these girls are running like 51s and 50s. And if you weren't running a 50 or below, you're not going to get in that top heat. And I got knocked down the first round.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. And then after that happened, I wanted to continue, but it was like a come to Jesus moment. Like, Sonia, you're like approaching 30. I don't know if this is going to happen. You keep getting injured. Your hamstring keeps, not wanting to cooperate with you. So I pretty much hung up my shoes and was looking for outlet. I still, after even competing in track and after my track career was over, I was still trying to find something to be competitive in. So I actually continued to do track workouts because I didn't know any better. I was familiar with the weight room. I actually got into personal training. That was just an easy transition for me to make money because I didn't really know what to do with my degree. I got a health science degree. So, I wanted to do public health, but didn't really want to. So,
what year did you start CrossFit, you said?
That's a rough patch. Probably like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there.
Okay, and you're within your second year, you were going to the games, right?
Yes, I actually qualified individually in 2012, but ended up horribly because I didn't even make it to the last day.
But in 2014, you went individually, right?
Right. I went individual and got 7th at regionals. And
then this year, as we all know, #1 team in the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast combined for the Atlantic region. So really, they pretty much dominated both regions. Brager, you on the call yet?
It's not there yet.
All right. We're working on microphone issues. We got these figured out. Now we're working on the microphone issues, and then we'll be good. Allison Ale, you on the call?
I think so, maybe.
There you go. Allison, congratulations. We have one. Allison, could you give us a quick, brief background about yourself? What got you into CrossFit?
Yeah, so I actually did gymnastics growing up. I was actually on the same team as Emily Bridgers when we were like 7. We went a little bit different paths, but continued doing that through high school. Went to college at Georgia Tech here in Atlanta, and competed with them. We only had a club team, so just for fun, but kept me active. And then after I graduated, I took a few years to try to, stay active, and realized I couldn't do it on my own as well as I thought I would be able to, and ended up joining CrossFit at the end of 2011. Competed in my first Open in 2012, and just kind of went from there. Competed on a team for another gym at regionals the past 2 years before finding my way over to the Squat Mafia gang, and
nice.
We are.
And, one thing, I think if everyone who's listening on this call has gotten, most of you guys started about 2010-ish, 2011. So really, most of you guys have been doing this for 3-4 years. A lot of people who do this have been doing it for so many years, yet they're trying so hard to get to the level that you guys are at, whether it's at a team or individual. So there's a couple topics I want to hit with you guys tonight. One that I think is super important, that I think is neglected more than anything, is recovery. I think how they train is important, but I also think recovery is a huge aspect that's becoming more popular, but has been lacking. I also want to get into the mindset of you guys from back 2011-12 to where you are today. So who wants to start as far as like recovery? Things you've integrated since 2011-12, and things that have worked the best for you.
For me, just lots of food.
Yeah.
Lots of food. Like a lot of carb intake. Like I wasn't a big rice eater before.
Yeah.
I implement that a lot in my regimen, especially in the mornings.
I eat so much rice now.
Yeah, like in the mornings, and sweet potatoes.
Okay.
A lot in the mornings.
So when do you work out, morning or night?
I'm like mid-morning, like 10 to 12.
And you eat sweet potatoes and carbs and rice before you work out, right?
Yes.
What do you do after you work out?
I usually do like a protein or a complex carb, like another sweet potato with some meat and veggies.
Perfect. I think the people, by the way, if you're listening to this, one thing we do talk about, I talk about in the seminars, and I think you're going to hear this from, and I want to hear if anyone disagrees with me on this, but before workouts, the sweet potatoes, the rice, all those great, loaded up, but post-workout, 30 minutes to an hour, branched chain amino acids, you're going to find that in your beef, chicken, fish, but when you work out, you're destroying the muscle tissue, so the branched chain amino acids go into the muscle tissue, rebuild it back up to make you stronger. For those of you looking to get like gains level, elite level, branched chain amino acids, do all of you guys eat meat or some protein after?
Protein shake.
Yeah.
Peanut butter
Does anyone
smash.
do protein shakes?
The crazy thing for me is, like, I'm not big on the protein supplements just because my body doesn't do well with dairy products.
Yeah.
So I try to do it more with food versus the shakes and things like that you see most CrossFitters do.
Yeah.
Just my body doesn't do well with just shakes in general, protein shakes in general.
Okay. What type of food do you like? What are you eating as far as like after like chicken, beef? I mean, what do you do best?
I tend to turn to turkey and ground turkey and chicken.
Awesome. What are some of the other guys doing like pre and post workouts for food?
Well, I don't eat before I go to the gym since I train in the morning, but afterwards usually bacon and eggs.
After you train?
Yeah. After I train, I'll take a protein shake, 2 or 3 scoops, and then eat bacon and eggs for breakfast.
Awesome. Allison, Eric, how about you guys? What do you guys do pre-post workouts?
For me,
Want to talk about mine?
I'm usually some sort of peanut butter or nut mix, and I try to get some fruit, whether it be apple, banana, but also just because I get up really early for work and forget sometimes, I actually carry baby food with me.
You carry what?
Baby food?
Baby food?
Yes, that's awesome. I started doing that like around regionals time.
So,
Wait, what kind of baby food are you guys eating?
Just a little baby squeezy thingies.
Like breast milk?
No.
It's all organic, and it might consist of like 2 to 3 ingredients, and that's it. And comes in a pouch and it's refrigerated, and I might have 1 or 2 before I head into the gym, and then afterwards.
Great idea. I've never thought about this.
Yeah, it actually, I like it. I mean, we probably keep 20 to 30 pouches in our fridge at all time. So.
Wow.
And they're good in between workouts. Like if I work out so long, we have like maybe a 10-minute break or something. Just grab one of those things, and you're good.
You guys, okay, you guys get programmed every day by the Ben Benson, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Squat Mafia. So with him, obviously you're not just doing one workout. How many typical workouts are in a shift?
Oh my God. It's
Probably
games training.
4 on average, but lately he's been making our prep work for time, so 5.
Oh God. And then as far as like in between workouts, will you guys eat anything nutritious, or will you just kind of go through the motions of working out without putting anything in your bodies?
In between workouts?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've gotten the habit, and some of the Squat Mafia will eat it. I actually buy Starburst little tiny things, little like sugar thing. So, what are they selling?
The what?
Red vines too. Don't forget red vines.
Oh yeah. We'll actually eat candy. So we'll actually have candy in between workouts.
candy. This is
I'm more
great.
natural than these guys. I eat honey.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Man.
Joey was supposed to give me a jar of honey, but he never has.
Eric, I've given everybody a jar of honey except you.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I have a jar of honey. I have a jar of
I
honey.
don't have honey.
One of the best. Oh man, Honey's was that's like a big go-to before like pre-workouts. I think for a lot of people who are in the workout world doing CrossFit, great pre-workouts, especially for a long like endurance WOD. Oh man, that stuff will get you going. What about us? Now you guys have the Normatex things too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You guys like those?
those are lifesavers.
Give some. Who knows that? Who knows about them the most?
Rager, if she can talk.
Yeah. Allison, you here? Sprague, you here?
Looks like she's trying to talk.
She's trying to talk, but we can't hear her.
Does anyone read lips?
Yeah, right.
We need a lip reader for her. All right, who knows second most about it?
Ugh.
Eric, tell us about it.
Yeah. I don't know too much, but like, so I know it has something to do with compression, and the way it works is that it kind of goes to the body and flushes out the whatever causes
Lactic acid.
lactic acid, and it's kind of like. So I know when you put on the legs, it moves from ankle to hip, correct?
Yeah.
The movement.
Right.
And something about that helps release all that lactic acid out of your body.
It pretty much flushes your system. Like the lactic acid buildup, it flushes. It compels all the blood. It releases the blood flow back into your limbs, your extremities, and things like that.
Yeah. Now, are any of you guys using magnesium?
Oh my God, I'm religiously using
All right.
magnesium.
Sonia, I think, okay, so there's a couple things a couple key points I think you guys have hit that are important as far as pre-workout, carbs, post-workout, proteins, branched amino acids. I think this right here is one of the biggest things that CrossFit is missing out on. Will you give us a little background about magnesium, please?
All I know is that it's good for
Pooping?
for recovery. For recovery, it just makes me feel a lot better after I do a workout because I always take 2 right after I work out, along with fish oil and zinc, and I take 1 before I go to bed.
Awesome. Which brand do you use?
As I bought it from Whole Foods, I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. There's a brand, by the way, for anyone who's on the call, there's a brand called Natural Calm Magnesium. It's a powder form. All you do is before you go to bed, you stick it in your water, and it gives your body back the magnesium.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So good. It's like Sprite. It's just like water and magnesium. That's it, because the magnesium is absorbed through the water.
Yeah.
When your body works out, you're burning so much magnesium, so your muscles get essentially they're hungry.
Right.
They need magnesium. So I think it's important for people who are working at an extreme level to take it. Also, Epsom. Does anyone do an Epsom salt bath?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we're good there. So reason why? Does anyone know the reason why you do it, or you just do it because you know it's good for you?
Eric, you do it more than any of us.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially when I'm sore or my body's feeling just beat down, I'll take 20, 30 minutes Epsom salt bath, and I'll throw a 4-pound bag in a tub and just let it sit there, and it helps really with my soreness and my aches and my pains.
Yes. Do you know why?
Huh?
You know why?
Because the salt.
Yes. So you actually take the salt out of the bag before you put the bag in the water, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, magnesium's absorbed through the skin. It's one of the only minerals that's absorbed through the skin.
Yeah.
So it's crucial to take up some salt baths at least obviously you guys should be doing a little more, like 3 times a week or so. But
Really?
average athlete about 2 times a week.
And isn't it important, I've always been told that with a lot of people get messed up with the amounts, and a bathtub is lots of gallons of water, so you need at least put 3 to 4 pounds of salt water in there for your body to absorb it.
Yeah, 3 to 4 pounds is probably a lot, but definitely probably a pound would be a good number for people. Because
Oh,
usually
really?
the bags are like 4 to 6 pounds.
Right. I put the whole thing in there.
You put the whole yeah.
Yeah.
I would bet
Eric told me to do it.
maybe for Steve because he has so much hair, but I don't know about the rest of us. What are some other things you guys are doing as far as like taking care of your bodies and like you're eating well, you're doing Epsom salt baths. Recovery is such a huge component to this, and you guys do icebox, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. Cryotherapy.
How often do you guys go do that?
I try to at least go between 2 to, honestly, about 2 to 3.
What about you, the rest of you guys? Allison?
2 times a week. I try and get up there.
Before my job switched locations, I was trying to get up there 3 times a week. Now I'm closer to 1.
Once a week? Nice. But you're still getting there, then, right?
Trying to.
Yeah, still great. Another key aspect right there, and for those of you that don't have access, who are in like different states, who don't have access to like a cryotherapy facility, just throwing like a bag of ice on certain like sore muscles, especially on like the bicep tendon, right on the forearms as well. Great point to throw a bag of ice on.
Oh, absolutely. Even
Guys,
after competing.
oh man, like especially right after competing.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing a lot of that when we all go to the games. There's gonna be a lot of recovery stuff we're gonna be doing actually.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Hey. All right. Well, the call's over now, so thanks everyone for joining. No, I'm kidding. Prager, welcome to the call.
I'm sorry. I was using my PC. I should have used my Mac.
Yes, definitely a good idea. All right, Allison, give us a little. Allison was also on the 2013 team, also on the 2015 team. Allison, give us a little quick background about yourself, like 30 seconds.
Okay. I was a two-sport athlete in high school, specialized in track and field in college. In grad school, I did some version of CrossFit early on, but I didn't actually know it was CrossFit. And then in 2011, I actually grew up with Dan Bailey, and he told me about CrossFit, and so I started doing CrossFit then and fell in love with it, and obviously I've continued with it competitively since.
And Allison just came out with a book. What's the name of your book?
It's called Meathead. Steve was my muse for the inspiration of the title, and it's basically debunking the myth of the dumb jock. That's something I've been called my entire life, is a dumb jock, and it makes no sense. And so I put forth a lot of scientific evidence for why that makes no sense.
When I read, I have a science degree, and went to chiropractic school. I'm not gonna lie, the first chapter, it is some valuable information that is in there, but it's a good something you got to keep going back and reading to get that information in.
Yeah.
Good stuff, though. All right, listen, I know like a lot of people maybe on the call right now feeling a little overwhelmed because there's so much stuff we're throwing at them. But as all of you know, that we didn't start off in 2011 doing all of these things. You didn't start off doing icebox, Epsom salt baths, and magnesium, and Normatec, all these regular things. It's definitely been a journey. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. And I think that's something important for like everyone on the call to get, is you're not just going to show up tomorrow to the gym and start implementing all of these things, but it's taking some of the key points and integrating those one by one until they become habitual for you, and then you can move on to the next thing for your life. What are some other things? Because I think we got to keep throwing these out there. Throw out some other things you guys do.
Well,
Salt
I think
pills
that-
are the new thing.
Huh?
Salt pills are the new thing. Everybody's doing them.
Actually, I haven't did it yet. I'm not skeptical, but I'm just nervous because it's something different for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to try it one day, like maybe this weekend.
Yeah, and I think for people who are doing like short, like if they're doing a CrossFit workout, it's maybe like a 10-minute workout, may not be the best way hydration. But for those, like for instance, over the games weekend, you guys, you really may want to consider doing some salt in your water. It's a long weekend. The last thing you want is any cramping going on.
Right.
It is going to be crucial, I think. Now, if there's a swim sign, you'll get enough salt water in that, but you guys will be able to adapt. Some of you guys get massages, right?
Yes.
I just came from a massage.
Awesome. How often, Allison, do you get massages?
I try to go every week. Eric and I have been seeing the same massage therapist for the past year. He's absolutely wonderful, but he's also extremely painful. He finds those really tough areas, and he does not let go.
Most of the people who are probably on this call right now are definitely, I'd say 80% of people on this call probably have desk jobs. Most people aren't on this call are, games athletes. Most of the people on this call are just trying to get better at the sport. And a lot of them are desk jobs. And for those of you who do, the fact is you actually may need more recovery than the people on this call, than the people I'm interviewing right now, because, you're sitting all day in front of a computer and your biomechanics are completely shut down. So you're trying to train like them, yet you don't have the mobility and the recovery levels like a lot of they do as well. I think a couple of you guys use PT as well, right?
Do what?
PT, physical therapist?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have an appointment tomorrow.
Perfect. You guys see Danny, right? Or Lauren?
Some people see Danny. I see Lauren.
Perfect. Yeah, I know Lauren Palka, Danny Mata,
Yeah.
both great PTs I refer to constantly in the area.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys do chiropractic on a regular basis. I think another important thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Forgot about that guy. A lot of loading on the spine when you're doing CrossFit. A lot of biomechanical stuff. So making sure your biomechanics are good when you're working out is crucial. Any other unique things besides Eric doing breast milk? Any other unique things you guys do as far as recovery stuff, or have we hit it all?
Actually, it's not unique, but it's very simple. It's sleep.
Oh.
Yay, I was going to bring that up. Good job, Sonia.
Thanks, Allison.
Allison, there's no one better right now to talk about sleep, and I think that I have a book coming out next year, and in it I about how I think this is the most underrated recovery tool that's out there, and the worst comment I ever hear when people say is, you can sleep when you're dead, because that's the dumbest comment, because you'll die sooner if you don't sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give us, okay, I don't want to hear your thesis, but can you give us a couple minutes of the value of sleep, recovery about it, and the best techniques for people to get better sleep?
Okay, first off, I want to say I am so proud of Sonia over the past year because she's really helped prioritize her sleep, and she's done simple things like turning off the TV when she sleeps, which a lot of people do and they don't realize is one of the worst and worst habits you could have, because it's suppressing your melatonin, which is something that's secreted by your brain in order to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
Thanks.
So anyways, the biggest thing is consistency, and this is something we talk about now with training. You train at a specific time, you eat at a specific time, you should sleep at a specific time, because all the hormones that are secreted and are triggered by sleep are released at a specific time. So if you're screwing up that time schedule, then you're going to screw up your sleep. The other big thing, too, is you want to sleep normal hours. So you want to sleep between 10 and 6, or you want to sleep between 11 and 7, because that way you can optimize things like growth hormone secretion. A lot of people don't realize that growth hormone is secreted a lot at night, and if you miss out on that opportunity, then you're not going to get that opportunity during the day.
Perfect. Okay, and if people go back to the hunter-gatherer population, the days were longer in the summer when it was warmer out. Why did God probably do that? So we could hunt and gather all the food, and so people would stay up a little later. And then in the winter months, it was colder and the days were shorter, because we didn't want us being all active and being outside and burning a lot of energy. And that's usually, as you stated, when a lot of hormones, are getting shut down, like melatonin levels getting majorly stimulated. But when we have a phone in front of our face before we go to bed, or the TV on, our brain thinks it's still light outside. So just like Allison said, stop stimulating melatonin, and it makes it harder for us to go to sleep. And there's a lot of research out there right now, isn't there, that shows that people who are on their phone before they go to bed, the quality of sleep is decreased, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a huge paper that came out in the science community, and it's gotten a lot of press, probably because it's from Harvard, but these individuals who did the study, they basically found what you just said, and now they're creating these devices that you could put over your iPhones and your iPads to filter out the blue light. Because not all light is suppressing melatonin, it's just the blue and the white light. So if you have some type of filter that you could put over to block that light from reaching your eyes, then yeah, you can look at your phone or you could read your iPad before you go to bed.
I tell all my clients, especially a lot of our athletes, to take if there's alarms clocks in your room, turn them around. If there's a cable box, put a black electrical tape over it. Ever since I started, and I actually did that, I got rid of there's an alarm in our room, and the alarm clock and the cable box, and I just put a black tape over them, turn the alarm clock around, and actually I noticed my quality of sleep actually did get better. Placebo or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is my quality of sleep got better. So
Right.
it felt great. Yeah, I think that's a huge one. If someone's going to take a first step, I actually think that's probably one of the most important things to start, and then transition into a lot of the other things about recovery we just talked about right there.
Oh yeah, I love sleep.
Yeah. Very
And you
valuable.
sleep better now too, Sonia.
Yeah.
TV.
Eric,
Yeah.
I want to hear about this bracelet story real quick from you. I think that's a very inspirational story, all about commitment to never giving up. Why don't you give us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, so 2013, I think, was the year, and it was the year that all of us were at CrossFit RX, and it was a uncomfortable and odd situation. It was a gym that was ran well, but as far as the competitive, it wasn't like anything was clearly stated as far as this is what we're doing and this is what we're not doing. And Steve Hoover and I were quickly, I guess you could say,
Targeted
and put up against each other. So as soon as the open came, it was him and I fighting for a spot. So it's not like we did not like each other or anything like that. It's just that we knew that if we wanted to be on the team, we had to beat one another. And the whole funny situation about that year in the Open is actually Steve Hoover was the best male in that gym. Then came Joey, then me, and then the owner of that gym. And we went to regionals that year with Joey, me, and the owner of that gym, and Steve Hoover was not on the regionals team. And in that regionals, the team qualified by taking third. And after regionals, there was a voting to make the games team. And, I truly don't know exactly what happened. All I know is the owner of that gym had given me his word that he wants to keep the team the same. And we had talked the morning of voting, and next thing you know, I was voted off the team that evening, afternoon, whenever the voting is finished. So
You competed in regionals.
Yes. And so my 2013 season ended there. I left the gym immediately, not because of being voted off, because of that's what the individuals wanted, but because the owner of the gym had told me something, we're talking 2 to 3 hours before we actually all voted, and that he believed that the team should stay the same. It was that basis that had made me decide that this person is not someone I need to be around, or is this person somebody that I can trust or like, and I do not want to support that person. The team, however, I was more than happy to support, and that year I gave money to get the team out there, and I was very happy for all those individuals, and but from that point on, I made it to myself that no matter what I could do or whatnot, I was going to train my hardest to get myself back to the games. And I had picked up 2 bracelets from the games, and I wore them on my wrist and I told myself that this would remind me every single day why I'm getting up, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I work as many hours as I do, and as many hours I put into training, and when my body's hurting, then I'm still going to keep doing it, and I'm going to be the best athlete that I can be. And so this final year, when the team had qualified at regionals, was, I thought, a good time to take those bracelets off and get my redemption, the redemption that I fought for 2 years. And, it took a long time. I mean, it took a long time for Squat Mafia to come together. It took a long time for the team to come together. That first year at Terminus, it was Sonia, me, Steve Hoover,
Brager.
and Allison Brager, yeah. And it was the four of us. And unfortunately, cars did not play well for a team to qualify. And Sonia went individual and Allison went individual. And, we were very fortunate for Joey to come home to daddy and, to have him back. And it sort of feels like we are at this, I was training with the team that should have been at the games that year. And it was I was happy. I mean, how could I not? I was training with the people that I love to train with. And, that I want to wake up on a Saturday or a Sunday at 8 a.m., and get myself out of bed and put myself in a lot of pain. I mean, it was perfect. So, I got my redemption, and here we go, CrossFit Games 2015.
Yeah, baby. And then, what do you guys think? Because I know what the answer was because I was there being a spectator the whole weekend watching you guys, supporting you guys. And what do you guys think was the key difference during that weekend of the Atlantic Regionals back in May that separated you guys from everyone else?
I think the big thing we had going for us is we are a team more than probably any of the other teams out there. We've trained together for a long time. We know how each other's work out. When with Joey and Eric in particular, I can look at them and they can look at me, and I know that all right, Joey's got one more rep, and then I've got to close this out, or vice versa, or all right, if we can pick these up, Eric's going to knock out a big set of handstands and we'll get through it. I think it's just that familiarity with each other and that complete trust. I'll say that the weekend of regionals, the team dynamic we had has been the best team I've ever been on. There was no finger pointing. There was no looking back. I think the big thing is, and Ben really drilled it in, that all communication was about going forward. There's no we should have done this, we should have done that. It's all this is what we're going to do, this is how we need to do it, and really just being able to execute that. So I think it was just everybody believing in the mission. It's funny, at regionals we didn't win a single event, but we won the region. And I think it's just that consistent performance across the board, all the guys, all the girls, everybody really just pushing and believing in what we were doing. I think we were the only team to be in the top 5 all 3 days. And we were definitely the only team to move up every day. We started in 9th place, I guess was our seed, finished day 1 and 3rd, day 2 and 2nd, and day 3 and 1st. So can't really argue with that. And it's really just been the best team I've been a part of. So I'm really excited for what we can do out in California.
Oh, boo boo.
Do any of you guys, by the way, if whoever's dog is barking, you can hit the mute button at the top and it would help out a little bit.
That was Stella, so that was my dog. So she's muted now.
Well, we were lip reading for Allison Brager for a while, so we could have done the same thing for you, by the way. We didn't have to hear the voice. Anyone else have any comments about that?
So we have and besides what we did at regionals, we just had a great coach and I guess you call it assistant coach. We had Ben Benson, who was there to help us clear our minds, help us figure out what we need to do, our aches and pains, and then we had Christina, who without her, I think
we would be lost.
I mean, she played a very important role as far as making sure we had water, making sure if we had too much equipment, she would take our equipment away. Like if we had a felt we weren't, she just made it very easy for us just to do what we had to do, warm up, and then when it became to perform, and she took care of all the, I don't know what you want to call it, but she just took care of everything else that had to play along with that weekend.
You guys see any other teams that had like a team mom like you did?
Probably not.
There were spouses helping out other teams.
Yeah.
But I'll second what Eric said about both. In particular, Ben, who has, I guess, since I have come over to the gym, I spent a year or so away from these guys, and his coaching has come such a long ways. He, everywhere, everything from the little sit down talk he had with us back in January, maybe, where he said more or less, we're not as good as we think we are, but in more Ben terms, to just the weekend drilling.
Right.
He made us one time get in a line and do air squats and work on our pivoting away from a barbell just to get ready for regionals. It was,
the basics.
Little things that he hasn't let us overlook or get ahead of ourselves.
And being a spectator, you could see this, by the way, like everything Steve, Eric, Joey said. I mean, you could see this, by the way. There were others that were out there, and it's almost like these teams, there were individuals that were trying to compete as individuals, yelling at their teammates. You guys know there was one guy who threw something at his teammates.
Right.
People going fast, not keeping up with mates, trying to do certain stuff quicker, and kind of getting away from the plan. The whole weekend, though, you guys were team. I mean, it kind of reminds me, if you guys follow NBA basketball, the Atlanta Hawks have no superstars on their team.
Right.
None. I'm not saying any of you guys. I mean, a lot of you guys are superstars, but the cohesiveness on how you guys work together like they did, the fact that they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with no LeBron James or Kobe's or any of those Stephen Curry's, it's pretty impressive. And you guys are obviously a group of great, solid people, but how well you work together was unbelievable. And like you said with Christina and Ben, I think a lot of gyms that want to go to the regionals, they don't get the dedication and commitment it takes as far as individualized programming like you guys have. And a lot of the other things that are out there, I mean, do you guys see a lot of people who ask you questions about your programming I know a lot of people, for instance, that follow Outlaw, they follow CJ's website, they follow the CrossFit website. I mean, do you think there's a huge difference between doing that versus doing some more specific programming?
Absolutely. I think the big difference we have over a lot of remote programming is that Ben is there. He's there a lot of the times when we're working out. He gets that feedback, hey, yesterday was brutal. Everybody's hands are torn up. We can't do rope climbs tomorrow, or just something like that. So he's getting that feedback. He knows what's going on in the gym, how everybody's feeling, and is able to really adapt the program accordingly. He's got probably a plan for the week, but if something hits us a little harder than expected, he's willing to modify it and really listens to us, and then sees areas where we're struggling. Or if he looks at the board and the times aren't where he needs to be, he's like, all right, these guys are slow at burpees, so we're doing a bunch of burpees now. It's just having that constant feedback and that level of interest, I think, really separates it from other programs.
Would you guys also say, because one thing I see a lot, our practice, my office takes care of more CrossFitters than any other chiropractic office in the entire world. So I see this all the time, and I know a lot of teams that are trying to go to regionals every year. I see it every day, and I think one thing that's lacking that you guys demonstrate is what? What? Is that you guys? Can you hear echoes?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. It's all right. Well, one thing I want to say is they don't push each other throughout the year. So in June, July, August, September, October, they get burnt out.
Yep.
And you guys have each other. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I think, can I say one more thing about Ben?
Yeah, please.
All right. The other thing I just wanted, this is for us too, is Ben is kind of a scholar in his own right. I don't think we all appreciate how much time he puts into reading current trends and failed trends and future trends and programming and applying them to Squat Mafia. I tell people this all the time. I have a PhD in physiology, and I think Ben knows more about anatomy and physiology than I ever learned in college or in graduate school. He really is a scholar in his own right. It's amazing.
Yeah, Completely agree. And how would people follow you guys and Dan and the team? Where would you follow this?
Didn't get that.
We didn't get that. Sorry.
Oh,
What was the
where
question?
would people follow you guys along the journey or whatever? Are we echoing?
The echo is way too bad.
Hold on. Are we good now?
No.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Where would people go to follow Dan and Scott Mafia on the internet?
Hey, guys, everybody mute your microphone.
Hold on. That was fun. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, where would people go to follow Squat Mafia and Ben on the internet?
Currently, he's not taking on any athletes. He's planning to revamp it after the program, after the games. We don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
So we should probably count ourselves as the fortunate because we don't know what his program will look like after the games. But he has a Facebook page for remote athletes, for on-site athletes.
Yeah.
You walk in and the workout is posted on the board. I get it in the morning because I write it on the board.
And where would people go to follow you guys on the journey? Do you guys have like a Team Terminus Instagram account, or like where would people follow you guys so they can see all of your individual handles?
Social media?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We got a couple Instagram accounts. Everybody's got their personal one. We've also got Team Terminus and then the Squat Mafia Instagram. There's also a lot of stuff as well as CrossFit Terminus. But we're all pretty active on social media on Facebook, so there's a lot of good stuff out there.
And follow Steve. He has more sponsorships than LeBron James. I've said this before. Just be careful with his Instagram account.
We just picked up a couple more, so.
What are we, like at 10?
Oh my God. Listen, guys, does anyone have anything else to share? I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I mean, it's been about an hour, so I don't want to take people's time. But does anyone have anything like
Echo again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting hammered with the echo.
Can you repeat that, please? Okay.
Does anyone have anything they want to share this as we wrap up right now?
Follow our journey.
Yeah, follow the journey. Follow the echo.
Get some sleep.
All right, listen. We're cut off. Thank you guys for doing tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Austin, for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate
Good luck,
it.
guys. Bye.
Thank
I have a
you.
morning appointment.
Thank you.
I'll be there tomorrow, Austin.
Thanks.